What?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Sunday Summary. I'm your host, Kyle. With me, as always, is Steve. Steve, how you doing this morning, bro?
I'm hydrated. Any questions?
What's the drink of the day?
H2O, high quality,
High quality H2O. There's a
filtered
meme.
H2O.
There's a meme going around from that movie where it's like the dog watching the human put the fridge water in their bowl instead of like tap water, and it's the water boy. It's like that's water from a glacier in Alaska. You remember that scene?
Probably, but I haven't seen that movie in quite a long time.
Oh, you got to watch it today, bro.
Yeah, let me just watch The Waterboy today.
Well, you got to go watch it tonight. Good morning to everyone in the chat. Mom, Dad, Hannah, Stellar, Liz, Fakito. What's going on, everyone? How's everyone doing? It's been a while. Steve, boys are
Wait,
back.
you know what I just watched per your recommendation? Per your
What?
like indirect recommendation? Chernobyl.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so damn good.
It's one of the best limited series I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I can't think of other limited series off the top of my head right now, but it's got to be up there.
It's really good.
That was crazy. That was crazy. And the thing that was the craziest was 2 of the divers are still alive.
Yeah.
Divers, right? Like, I think they didn't swim much or have to dive much. But one died in like 2004, like 30 years later.
I
or
know.
2005, and the other guys are still kicking.
I think the craziest thing is the elephant's foot. The thing that's underneath. They didn't show that in the series.
The elephant's foot?
So the
thing they poured, the heat pad?
No, it seeped through the floor. Like the uranium seeped through the basement of the facility, and it went underground, and it's like super radioactive, just like molten metal, and it like seeped down into the basement, and it's just sitting there. It's just like a pile of molten metal, and it's so radioactive, like to this day. It's like you can't if you get within like 20 feet of it, it's your risk of cancer goes up by like 1,000,000 or something. It's still there. I'm surprised they didn't.
What about elephant's foot? Is that just what they call it?
That's just what they call it. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, so people have moved back. It's still like an exclusion zone, but
Oh,
people
yeah.
have moved back. People just don't care.
No.
And not for nothing, I know where they filmed it wasn't the actual plant, but they said it looks like pretty darn similar. Why would you want to move back there? That's a dump. Sorry to be harsh, but
I mean, I don't know
that's
what
a
life's
dump.
like over there, man. Maybe that's the Hamptons over there. I don't know.
Oh, certainly not the Hamptons.
Well,
But
either
maybe
way,
to them it is, I guess. I don't know.
everything you go in this rabbit hole of like radioactivity, and you see that almost every country, not every country, but a lot of countries, including us, have all had radioactive scares. And it's kind of terrifying. Japan had one recently. I think we had one in, I don't know if it was Pennsylvania, but we had the train derailment. You remember that? Jesus.
That was in Ohio?
Yeah. What the hell is going on?
Dude, natural disasters. Well, I don't know if that's considered a natural disaster, either of those, but they said, I also remember at the end of the clip, they said that everybody that stood on the bridge and watched it is dead. Remember the scene where
at the very beginning.
And the ash. Yeah. They're all dead.
I'm not surprised.
It's crazy because I would have been one of those people looking.
Yeah, that sounds like you. I would have been asleep.
I think you might have woken up.
I probably still would be dead, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know what else we might die doing? Waiting for Liverpool to sign somebody.
Well, I mean...
Oyvind said, good story, Steve.
Oh, thanks. So this show, we're taking a total left turn here. Is all about radioactivity and educating the public on nuclear disasters, if you will, radiation and things of that nature.
And then next week, we're going to be talking about the food industry and canola oils. which is a big
And
problem.
pesticides and how that affects canola oil consumption in America's youth,
Correct.
ages 8 to 11. Yeah,
Inflammatory markers in youth. Yes.
correct. And how it affects proprioception during preschool.
Yes.
Yeah,
And how that in turn relates to Liverpool's preseason. So it's all tied in.
it is. It is all tied in. Now, back to your original point, um, waiting for us to sign someone. I'm not overly surprised that we haven't yet. I've said it many times on previous episodes here that I think it's going to happen after the tournament. You think about like I don't know why this pops into my head on a recurring basis, but when we signed Shaqiri after the tournament, do you remember that? It was like
Of course.
right when the tournament ended, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever it was. Um, that's what I'm thinking. That once this all ends, we'll make some signings. There's a lot that needs to happen because one could argue that this team that we have now is good enough to win the league. If you wanted to make that argument, you probably could, especially considering the fact that we were leading from the front. We essentially bottled it, right? I don't know. I use that term loosely, but it's the same returning team. And on paper, it's healthier than we were. Now, that said, Slot doesn't want his first few months in charge to have that little asterisk next to it that he didn't sign anyone or that he didn't improve the team. So for those reasons, I think there are signings coming. I wish they were sooner, but I do understand with these international tournaments in the summer, things can be put on pause a little bit. And there's nothing to say that we haven't already made a deal and we're just waiting to announce it.
But let's go back to what you just said with Slot. He has already said that he's just glad he's in a role now where he can focus on football. He's going to be involved in the signings, yes, but he's not his role, and he said this, that he's kind of just consulting with Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards and that team about the signings. He's not really involved in like, we're going to get this guy. We're going to get this guy. So not like Klopp was anyway. So I don't necessarily think what you said about his asterisks next to him for not signing anyone is necessarily a big point. For me, it's more so like just the absolute need for it. Why are we one of the only Premier League clubs, like out of 4 or 5, I think, that haven't signed anybody yet?
Because we don't have jokers running the show. Michael Edwards is back, Kyle. He's working magic. You got to just sit back and let it unfold.
My
Now,
job
Slot
is
also
not to
said,
sit back and let it unfold. My job is to ask why we haven't made a signing.
well, we do
That's
this
my
every
job.
year. You and I sit in these exact chairs every single year and have the same conversation.
Well, I got a new chair.
That's right, you did. So Slot also said that he's on the phone with Richard almost daily to talk about improving the squad, and he said that a long time ago. So I would imagine there's been a ton of work that's gone into.
Did you just mute yourself? You're
back.
back. Yeah, you sounded like you were diving at Chernobyl.
My mic was like half unplugged. Well, if I go diving in Chernobyl, at least I know I'm going to live another 60 years.
You legitimately sound like you're on the radio talking to the Chernobyl people right now.
Right now?
Literally right now. Like, I don't know what happened. Try unplugging it and plugging it back in. Oyvind says we do business out of nowhere. And that's what I'm expecting. Right. The Michael Edwards era was full of opportunistic, quick, announce them that day signings. I'm ready for that. And I'm prepared for that. And guys, trust me, Steven and I are not the kind of people to like stress about like, we're like, why? I'm not going to go on a rant on Twitter or here about we haven't signed anyone. It's just the fact of the matter that we haven't. Right? I personally, I trust it. I know the process is underway. I know these guys aren't sleeping. I know what they're doing. These guys are on the phone 24/7 trying to get these deals done. All right, maybe not 24/7, but they're in the trenches, Steve. They're trying to make deals. They're calling, they're inquiring. I mean, but there's so much that has to happen for the deal to go through. Just to get in the door, bro. I just read that comment. Um, just to get in the door, you have to one, the team has to be willing to sell. Two, the player has to be willing to even move, right? And three, you got to get the green light from the agent. So it's like there's a lot that has to happen before you can even start talking about a deal.
Yes, I agree. Do I sound better now?
Yes, you do.
Yeah, it switched to my AirPods. And the microphone in my AirPods is dog shit.
I mean, it's okay. I got
I'm
you.
back on the mic now.
I was gonna say they sound pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm back on the mic now. Um, yeah, so Oyvind says we always do business out of nowhere anyways. I agree. I think we'll see 2 signings. I've said this. I think we'll see 2. I think 3 would be really nice. I don't expect that, but I think we'll get a center back and I think we'll get a midfielder. And also, I haven't looked at any of these links in a few days, but Williams, the winger that we spoke about,
Yeah.
I think that's legit talks. But again, I haven't looked in days, so I don't know
Yeah.
where we're at.
Let me just touch on 2 things. First, I'll touch on what Hannah said. We've signed some kid from Chelsea. Yes, we have the young player from Chelsea who's supposed to be another wonder kid. We've signed him. I don't know if it was a 3-year deal. I don't know. To me, when we sign a young player, Steven, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't consider that a first team signing.
No, this kid's legit. There's no doubt. I think maybe he'll get some cup time this year, but the more I've looked into it, he's not gonna. He's like 15.
I don't consider that a first team signing, right? Even though we did sign him. So that's the first thing. And now the second thing is escaping me. You had touched on it. Oh God, what were you talking about right before that?
Williams.
Thank you, Nico Williams. Thank you, Nico Williams. Flat out, let's just talk about the opportunistic signing that Liverpool said that they were going to kind of approach Arne Slot with. They said we're going to be methodical and brave with the signing, but we also know Liverpool are opportunistic. Nico Williams and Anthony Gordon look to me like opportunistic signings, bro. We don't necessarily like just go above and beyond price-wise to pull in a player that we want. We'll kind of sit back and wait for, I don't know, maybe a player to be sold at a discount because they're in the last year of their contract, or maybe they're out of contract and they're a free agent, or maybe the player's unhappy at the club, so we go in and sign him. Like these are like you're sitting back and waiting for an introduction or an in to sign this guy. With Anthony Gordon and Newcastle, for me, and I'm coming back to Nico Williams, but with Anthony Gordon and Newcastle, it seemed like the situation where Newcastle were trying to be within the financial fair play regulations. So they were trying to get rid of Anthony Gordon. So Liverpool were like, let's hop on this. Maybe we'll get a discount. They wanted too much with Quanza. That made us kind of pull out, right? And then you look at a player like Nico Williams. I don't see a world where Nico Williams leaves Athletic Bilbao unless it's for an absurd amount of money. You know how those players are over there. You know how loyal they are. You know how the club is just built into the culture of the city. That's not an opportunistic signing for us. It's not like this guy's going to be out of contract and we're going to get him at a discount. That kid's good. And they're going to demand a lot of money for him. I feel like that's more of a signing for like a Barcelona or something. Or like a Man City. Like teams that don't care, or Chelsea even. Teams that don't care about like, all right, we'll pay you what you're asking for. Right? Liverpool, as soon as we hear that price above 50, we're like, nah, we're good. So I don't think and not to mention the fact that we have so much depth on the left wing just to begin with. Right?
Well, that's the thing.
A lot of people might say Luis Diaz is our only true left winger. Fair. But then you look at Gakpo, Jota, Darwin. So many people can play on the left wing. So I don't even think that's a priority signing. And for some reason, the strongest links are with a left winger.
It's our strongest position, Kyle.
It's
It makes no
weird.
sense. It makes no sense. We got 5 guys that can play there. Literally. I
Yeah.
can't believe it. Like, what are we trying to do? LWFC. That's what they'll be calling us. Or like every time I'm on Instagram and there's a link, Liverpool have inquired about the availability of Lenny Yoro from East Bumf, right? All the comments crack me up. They're like, Links FC, inquiring FC, have been linked with FC. Those get me every time.
Dude, the comments are funny.
Um,
For
so
me, again, it's just the priority positions. And this is a perfect transition into that. Stellar says some of the center backs we're being linked with weren't even at the Euros. I don't think that's necessarily a big deal, but what I will say, and I thought about this, Steve, Calafiori, for example, who is now, it was a big talk last week, and I'm not sure if the deal is completed as of this moment, but he's pretty close to going to Arsenal. Fees agreed. They're just working out details of the contract, the last I read. A player like that not coming to Liverpool, again, I think it's down to a price thing, right? He was linked with Juventus for 25 million before the Euros, right? After the Euros, Bologna were like, okay, or Cagliari, whichever one he plays for. We're like, yeah, guess what? We can absolutely demand 45 million for this. And then as soon as Liverpool saw 45 million, said, no, we're good. Arsenal comes in, they're like, we'll pay 45 million for him. So it's just something as simple as that, bro. Someone as talented as that, price goes up 20 million. No, we're good. We'll wait. We got
yeah.
Nat Phillips.
Do we still have him?
Oh, of course we do, bro. Watch the inside training, man. He's dapping everyone up.
He's an absolute savage.
He is a baller, bro. And I'm pretty sure there's no way he's older than like 26 or 27. Seems like the man's 40 years old.
No, I know. He's got to be 28.
Maybe he is.
Let
Shout
me
out to
look, though.
Liz. Thank you very much, Liz, for the not the super chat, the gifting a membership. Always appreciated. Thanks, Liz.
So here's what I'm scared of. Okay, so he's 27.
27.
He was born in March, so he's 27 in a few months. So here's what I'm scared of. I'm scared that Slot is looking at center back, or the club maybe looking at center back as not much of a priority.
That's scary. That's scary.
And here's what I'm thinking. Worst case scenario, their thought process is: we have Virgil, we have Ibrahima Konate, and we have Joe Gomez. Now, I love Joe Gomez. He was a monster at left back this year. At times, he was the most informed player we had, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you.
He is a solid backup center back. He's good enough for me to consider him part of the rotation. However, we need a center back that's going to be third in the rotation. I don't think Joe Gomez should be third. I think he should be second choice left back, or at times first choice, depending on what we decide to do. Right. And also, the other thing to consider here is he going to play with a back three this season? Are we changing our formation? Because if so, right, I don't know, but or is he gonna play like almost like a back five with Robbo and Trent playing more up the field as wing backs? Now that's where they play anyways, but they line up at the back. They are true right back, left back in position wise. Would he go 3 center backs or 3 defenders and then Trent and Robbo up more, closer to the midfield space?
Let's talk about that for a minute, because traditionally he's a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 guy, right? Now, of course, on the field, we all know these are adaptable. It could become 5 at the back. It could become 3 at the back, right? Traditionally, though, what he does is he plays out from the back in a 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3 formation, waits for pressure from someone to close down the goalkeeper. But the fullbacks, they're not quite inverted, but they play in to receive passes. And that leaves spaces out open wide for the wingers, like balls into the wingers. But that brings into question the 6, right? If we play a double pivot, does Slot trust the players we already have to fill in that double pivot spot, bro? Like, because think about it, right? You could have McAllister and Endo playing in a pivot. That's a nasty pivot. And
It
then
is.
Soboslai playing up, who's been a disappointment, but we can chat about that in a little bit. That could be fine, right? But then you run into the situation that you were kind of talking about. What if a center back goes down and gets injured, right? Is Joe Gomez, in your opinion, good enough to be the guy who fills in for an injured center back? Because Konate is good for a hamstring or two throughout the season.
I think he can be good enough. I just don't think we've seen enough consistency from him at the center half position over the last couple seasons. There was a time where I would say, oh, undoubtedly, he's top 5 in the league. That
He's
was
just
like,
so good at and it's really left back, man. He's really good at left back. And it's a weird thing. You wouldn't see him as a left back, but I don't know. When he plays left back, I'm really impressed.
yeah, the other thing to consider here is you do still have guys like Phillips. Like, is he, I don't know, are we loaning him? Maybe. But then there's also Vandenberg. And then the one I keep forgetting about is Quanza.
Kwanzaa's great.
Somebody mentioned Quanza here. Dustin mentioned Quanza. Remember, Quanza was 5th choice in the beginning. You always need 5 these days and 6 up top. So if you think about it this way, Kyle, if I actually read it off, does this actually, when you put it this way, it actually sounds like maybe this is what they're thinking is good enough. Virgil, Konate, Quanza, the top 3. Gomez 4. Vandenberg, Phillips 5, 6. I mean, a lot of clubs in the world would love to have that, but we've just seen it so many times over that you need 4 capable center backs. And I just don't know if Gomez can be your 4th capable center back. I just don't know.
For me, the issue doesn't lie in the number of center backs. It lies in the drop off from Van Dijk and Konate to Quanza and Gomez. Now, this is what bothers me when I say this, because I know when you slot in one of those next to Van Dijk or next to Konate, there's not a big drop off in quality, right? So bear with me here. Quanza was excellent this season. I do think Quanza is really good. So, like, let's just say for the sake of this argument, Quanza is a really good, capable number 3 option, okay? You still only have 3 really good center backs. And then you have Gomez, who honestly, when he plays center back, he's not as effective or good as when he plays left back or right back, in my opinion. I just think he's more naturally a wide player or a wide defender. Okay. So to me, the problem remains, when do you rotate? Right? Like, how much trust?
You don't.
God forbid you haven't. The problem is with the injuries. If Van Dijk and Konate are healthy the entire year, and then you can randomly rotate in Quanza and Gomez, that's fine. The problem comes in is if you have the injury to one of those, or whatever the case may be, that is the problem. There's a big drop off. Big drop off. Stellar has Quanza ahead of Konate.
Look, we love the input.
Wait. Let's talk about it. Like, let's just play devil's advocate.
This is a scolding hot take.
It's a very hot take. Now, Stellar, can you give us a little bit more justification as to why you think this? Because
I know why. He's going to say because Quanza didn't really put a foot wrong aside from the United match, maybe one other. And Konate battles injuries. And he looked a little shaky at times, caught out of position. But still, we need to see more before we can agree on that. I'll say that for sure. Quanza murdered our title race, Oyvind says. I mean,
nah. There's
we
one
were
mistake.
In shit form.
One mistake, bro. One mistake.
It is, and one mistake shouldn't cost you a match.
Literally one mistake.
Like, we're so capable of beating United that it's crazy, or we should be. Not this year. But yeah, I dude, I don't know. I can't
What
keep talking about the center backs. It's driving me nuts.
Oyvind says one Karius level mistake. It was
Quanza
pretty
made one
bad.
mistake. Yeah, I think Quanza had maybe 2 mistakes this season.
He was so consistent.
And that's not
And
even like a that's just like a brain fart. That's not a lack of skill, necessarily effort. He literally just had a mental lapse. So I'm still fully confident that he can play at this level. Now, I don't want to see him starting every match, but he was consistent, man. And there's not much you can pick apart from his season aside from that,
if
which is
anything,
crazy to me.
no, it's great for you to be random. I didn't know who Kwanzaa was until this season, dude. I had no idea. So when you take that into account, the fact that he just came into the first team and did as well as he did, that's rare. You don't see that. Nito Nova here says, I love Kwanzaa, but Konate is honestly world class. I agree. Whether that's a hot take at all, I think Konate has all the tools. We've talked about this before. And when he's on, he is unstoppable. He's a great center back, but it's tough for him to find form if you're constantly out for 2 or 3 weeks with injuries, which I think Kwanzaa capitalized on that.
So we'll get to this in a second here. Because this will be good. But with Kwanzaa, yeah, Nito Nova. So Konate, for me, world class means you have to do it all the time. You have to be like, I don't know if I could put a percentage on it, but like 85% consistent. Like 8 out of 10 games, you have to show what you're capable of. Like Salah, right? Van Dyke, Allison, Trent, maybe not so much recently, Robbo, those types of players where you can just count on them. I don't think you can. I think Konate on his day, and more than half the time he plays at a world class level. I just wouldn't put him necessarily. I don't know if I'd slap the concrete label of world class on him yet. He's one of the best defenders in the world. But if you get what I mean, I'm just saying I think he needs to show a little bit more consistency. It seems like he's gotten worse to an extent.
I'm not going to argue there.
So, but I'm okay with saying he's world class. I don't feel very strongly about making that statement. Now, Kyle Dunn, welcome. Anyone happy to give Sepp a chance? Not happy about it, but could potentially see it. I mean, he can play first team football. I mean, how often are we going to use him? That's the thing. He's been
Never.
playing first team football for 3 years
Never going to
in
use him.
various leagues and for various clubs.
He played what, 1 or 2 Carabao Cup matches, then we loaned him out. Like, look, when I've seen him play, which is 4 times for Liverpool, whether it's in preseason or whatever, I'm not unimpressed. But this is the problem. You can have a good defender, but if you're not playing week in and week out for the first team, it becomes very political. You might have the skill, but if you're not playing, it's just kind of like, oh, you keep getting loaned out. Okay, you're obviously not good enough. People, including myself, kind of push you back. Quanza is a great example of a player that just got put into the first team, showed out, and now everyone's calling him the number 3. Think about that. I mean, replace it. If it was Sepp's number 3. Could you imagine a world where Sepp Vandenberg's our number 3? That would be crazy.
He's played 61 matches in the championship, 42 in the Bundesliga, 21 in Eredivisie, and 20 in League Two. Not to mention a bunch of cup appearances, DFB Pokal, FA Cup, right? He's played.
So are we having the
is he ready? I don't know, but
yes, that's what I was going to ask.
And we've talked about this. These guys that get continuously loaned out, they don't make it back. They don't make it back into the first team at Liverpool.
It's tough. It's tough.
Grujic, Vandenberg. Help me out.
Let's not. No. Take Vandenberg out of it. Look at players like Grujic or Ben Woodburn or Jesus Ajaria or Camacho. Players like that, like players that you just keep loaning out and then all of a sudden, see you later. Grujic
I
is a
mean,
great
Vandenberg's
example.
market value is at an all-time high right now per transfer market. It's 12 million, and it's skyrocketed after this season. I think he was good, man. He's good. But there's a reason he hasn't been kept around. Now, maybe Slot will see something different. I just don't know. There's always a chance that he makes it back. I just think those chances are very slim. Why have a player and send him out and he's playing first team football, but never use him? Like, are you just waiting for him to have a good season so you can sell him for 25 million? I don't see the plan with him. I
I
mean,
think
he's a great right winger.
I mean, we know that. We know that. I mean, I heard there's rumors of him coming over to the left wing, and it's so deep over there. It's hard for him to get any playing time.
I love this comment here. This is an all-time comment. If it wasn't for this YouTube channel, I wouldn't know Sepp existed. I'm just so glad to hear that. We break all the news here.
We do.
We talk about all the not so hot topics.
God, Sepp, man. Sepp Vandenberg. It's just one of those players that you're probably right. Maybe we probably do sell him. He'll probably end up at a Stuttgart
He's only
or
22.
I know. We got him when he was 17, bro. 17 we got him.
He's been here forever, and he doesn't wear the red shirt. It just blows my mind.
Is he good enough, Steve?
I have no idea. That's the
I
problem.
I
But
just
he's
want
good
to
enough to play first team football in all these 42 Bundesliga appearances.
That's in
For,
42 that's insane.
dude, 61 in the championship,
What's his
21
rating?
in Eredivisie. Let me go to a different site here.
Because I'm interested to see. I mean, if you're playing that often, clearly you're the best option on that team.
No, he's a starter, dude. This season, he played 33 matches in the Bundesliga. It's crazy. 3 goals. 3 goals, Kyle.
3 goals?
He's pouring them in. Let me get his rating from Who Scored. That's the one I use for ratings usually.
Yeah, you go ahead. Stellar says, what happened to Billy Cometio? We'll talk about that once.
7.04 in the Bundesliga. Anything above 7 is good.
Oh my, are we having the conversation that Sepp Vandenberg is now the number 4 or 5 option at Liverpool Football Club? Because I have been waiting for this day since 2021.
Dude, listen. All right, so the strengths, right? Blocking the ball, very strong. Aerial duels, strong. Okay, he's big.
That's it?
How big is he? I don't even know how big he is.
6'4".
They have him listed as a center back, a right back, and a right midfielder. What a legend.
I told you, he's a right winger.
Yeah, listen, right? Sepp Vandenberg's style of play. Indirect set piece threat.
Ooh.
So I guess, does that mean he's on the end of crosses set pieces?
Yeah.
Jeez, man. 3 goals, 9 yellows. What a legend.
9 yellow. Yo, he's a Nat Phillips, bro.
2 man of the match awards. Pick him up, Kyle.
Oh my God. Guys, are we having the conversation here that Sepp Vandenberg deserves to be in this team? Because I'm for it.
He had an 8.28 rating against RB Leipzig in March. 8.32 the match after that. 7.99 the match before that.
Apparently, he's got the highest speed rating in the fitness test, too.
Okay, because it's crazy that you mentioned that. And welcome to the channel. I don't recognize your name.
Nito Nova's been here before.
Okay. Well, welcome back. What I think about Sepp Vandenberg is pace. I don't know if he's fast, but he just wouldn't strike me as a type of player that's got pace. Like a Gomez, a Konate, a Virgil. But hey, maybe he's the fastest, Kyle. If he's got that pace, give him a chance. What's the worst that could happen?
He looks like he studies mathematics at Oxford. That's what at Oxford. That's what he looks like. He doesn't look like he'd be the fastest player on the team.
No, that literally makes no sense. But hey, IBR Stellar said, what happened to Billy Cometio? I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah. He played one preseason game, then we loaned him out. Apparently, he was the next best thing, too. See you later.
What was I looking for here?
Alexander said they're calling him cauliflower. Oh, that's funny.
Who?
Oh, they're calling Calafiore cauliflower. That's really good. Man. All right. So Vandenberg can play right back, so he's not slow. He can play right mid, apparently, and we know he's a right winger by trade. So
one
if
of the best in
Arsenal,
the world.
yeah. Quick, did you hit that accident?
I know I brought that up from a while ago.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
I felt like we should address this, the elephant in the room.
Oh, yeah.
So Fikito Achumi says, quick prediction, who's winning the Euro 2024, Kyle and Steven. I think on paper, England should win. But I think with Southgate and just typically how it goes when Spain meets England internationally or at the club level, Spain wins. So I'm going to say Spain wins, but I don't feel super strong about that.
What did you say? 19. Let's just, for the sake of argument, you said like 19 out of 23 times.
It's either 19 out of 19 or like 19 out of 20 something. Spain and England, when they meet, whether it's club or international, in finals, Spain wins pretty much every time. And that counts for Real Madrid and Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
Barcelona and Arsenal back in the day, like things like that. I'm going to go Spain. Kyle, what do you think?
Well, I wanted Netherlands to win, and Nito Nova.
Same.
I think they're the best team in the tournament, personally. But I think England, as much as this is going to be a little weird, as much as I don't want England to win it, I don't want Spain to win it either. Like I don't want Spain to win it even more or even less. I don't know how you'd say that correctly. So I'm going to go with England to win it. Like you said, on paper, they should. But dude, I don't think these two teams should be in the final together. I mean, it should be Netherlands and France, but France played like dog shit. So no, I think what Steve was referring to was
I think it's mainly club.
Yeah,
right?
like
Because
club,
the chances
not
of England and Spain meeting each other in a final, if this is true, clearly never.
Yeah.
It's just a little side stat.
Yeah. Just
Now,
a little side piece,
we support Liverpool. There's a lot of English players that we watch on a regular basis. We talk about, we enjoy, we support. But for me, man,
except Kyle Walker.
Yeah, John Stone's the guys that we aren't too fond of.
Yeah.
For Pickford. For me, it's the fact that Trent gets so much stick when he plays for his country.
Why does he get so much hate, dude? Is it just because he plays for Liverpool? Is that the only reason? Because
it's a toxic environment, the supporters of England, because they're just fiending and itching for a trophy. But that's the case for a lot of clubs in a lot of countries too. It's not just England. But Trent is an easy scapegoat because as far as Southgate is concerned, Trent doesn't really have a nailed on position. But for me, it's fine with me whoever wins today, but I think I just have a really bad taste in my mouth about how Trent's been treated first and foremost, but also Southgate. Dude, he's just a stick in the mud. He makes everything worse. Everything. If I'm reading an article and Gareth Southgate gets mentioned, I'm just done reading the article. Like, I don't want to hear about that guy. I don't care. And also, here's my prediction. If they lose, he resigns. He doesn't get fired. He resigns.
Call up Graham Potter.
So how long are you going to keep doing this? If he loses, it's over.
The one thing I will say about Gareth Southgate, I'll give him credit for. No one's saying this, okay? He started Trent in midfield. Okay? Regardless if he's not playing him now, he started Trent in midfield. All right? Liverpool fans have been calling for years. Okay, Klopp played him as a hybrid, which is fine. Southgate said, "You know what, Trent, get in midfield. I have enough balls, enough confidence in you to start." So I'm going to go out on a limb for Southgate here, even though I have no loyalty to him whatsoever. He did that for Trent. He said, "Here, start in midfield." He might not be playing him now, but he at least gave him the opportunity to do that.
I'm looking at he had a 6.41 rating against Serbia, 6.75 against Denmark. He created the most chances on the team, I think, in both matches.
We've seen that, yeah.
It's tough. He's a world-class talent, but I don't know, man. For me, it's Southgate. It's just I don't know, dude.
No
It's
one likes
crazy, and
Southgate.
England doesn't deserve to be there. I don't think. I can't say that and like really back it up, but they were robbed. The Netherlands were robbed
They were robbed. They were robbed.
for sure. And
Yeah.
England hasn't played well this tournament.
No.
They beat Serbia 1-0, Denmark 1-1, Slovenia 0-0, Switzerland 1-1. And Netherlands robbed. Like you're in the final? This tournament has been weak. So
Yeah,
weak.
it
None of
really
the
has.
stars turned up. Stars were born. Lamine Yamal, Musiala looked real good. But this tournament has been weak. And no one can tell me or prove to me otherwise.
It has not been a good Euros. It hasn't. I just, but to answer your question, Fakito, or I think it was Fakito who asked it. I I think England will win it, and then maybe England winning will put a damper on some of the toxicity that surrounds the international play.
It
I don't
will.
know.
No, it certainly will. It'll soften that up. But here's the thing. I think in a final, there's always that element of caution.
Oh yeah,
So
the first 10 minutes, everyone's a little
yeah,
hectic.
everyone's very, very careful. And if that's the case for most of the match, England has better players, I think. Harry Kane, Bellingham, Foden's played great this season, right? I don't rate him as world class, but he's been damn good,
Well, he's better
right?
for City than he is for
Saka,
England.
these guys that can pull something out of nothing. When I look at Spain, I don't see the same level of match winners, but I see a team that I believe, and I'm just throwing this out there, this could be wrong. They're rotated less. They have some better chemistry. They don't have that crazy drama with their manager, right?
Right.
There's not guys getting swapped in and swapped out like crazy. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm not even watching it. I can't because I don't have time, but I probably wouldn't.
Yeah,
I don't know.
if I had time, I might sit down and watch it. But to be honest with you, unless it's Liverpool, I won't sit down and watch a game. It's a big commitment, you know? I got commitment issues.
Living in
England were
Portugal,
much
yeah.
better than Holland in the first half, and although Holland had most of the ball, they did nothing the second half. I think overall in the whole tournament, Netherlands were just good. I really felt that. Like when I watched the Netherlands play, especially Cody Gakpo, man. For me, Cody Gakpo was a player of the tournament. Regardless if he wins the Golden Boot or top scorer or whatever, I think he was just untouchable. I was telling you about this last night, man. He's just when he's on that left wing, even for Liverpool, he's a different player. He's really good on the left.
Yeah, he really showed out, which is nice to see because I've been losing faith for him and for the last year and a
We've
half.
never liked him.
He had a good run of games, 4 or 5 games this season, but other than that, he was a ghost. Now, Live and Adventure England were much better, like you mentioned. The problem with England is, dude, like, what's their strong suit? If you look at them on paper, what's their strong suit? It's their attack. Foden, Kane,
Yeah,
Saka, Bellingham, right?
their
Like,
midfield is
nobody's talking about England's defense too much. Trippier,
no.
Stones, Walker, like, this guy's been around for a decade. We
Yeah.
don't care, right? Pickford. It's all about the attack, but they can't score. They can't score.
Harry Kane hasn't done a
Having
damn
more of the
thing.
ball and creating some halfway decent chances just isn't good enough. They can't score. Like, I don't know.
I don't know why that is.
The amount of talent they have, dude, they've looked pretty average and below average at times.
Yeah.
They have a way better team than the Netherlands. They should look better. They should have more of the ball. They should have more shots.
I think you're right with the defense aspect, though. I don't think their defense is that great. But we also have this like familiarity bias with England too. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, the players are great on paper, but I don't know if pound for pound they're better than the Netherlands.
I think they are.
Yeah. Either way,
Who does the Netherlands have that's world class?
Van Dijk.
Yeah. Okay. Who else?
Oh, well, see, the world class question is different because then you can ask me about England. Who's world class on England?
There's 5.
Bellingham is the only one.
Harry Kane?
Harry Kane's not world class for me. No.
Are you okay? We're gonna skip over that because no one would agree with you on that.
Harry
He had like
Kane's not-
50 goals this year.
What did he do in the tournament?
Dude, well, I'm just saying he's world class. He's a top 3 striker in the world.
He's a bottom 3 in this tournament.
He's been scoring goals for 12 years.
He's a good striker. He's a good
Dude,
striker.
okay. You could argue Foden. You could argue Saka. I wouldn't. Declan Rice is world class. I think it's Rodri and Declan Rice. I think those are the 2
Look, for me,
for defensive mid.
Dude, Foden, Kane, Bellingham, all world class. All right, maybe I'm getting outnumbered.
You could
here.
make the argument, Trent. Okay, I forgot about Trent. You could make the argument though. You could make the argument that Kyle Walker is a world class right back. I wouldn't make that argument, but dude, they're way better than the Netherlands on paper.
I still think
Dude, they have guys on the bench that are better than everybody on Netherlands. Cole Palmer's better than everybody on the Netherlands except Virgil van Dijk. Every single player.
See, I'm trying to think of their midfield. Who played in their midfield?
They have the most talented team in the tournament.
Doesn't matter. I think the Netherlands defense is pretty nasty. You look at like De Vrij, Van Dijk. Is it Frimpong or Gertruda? Which one played right back? Doesn't matter. So going back to the thing, I guess to me, the only all right, fine. Now I'm thinking Kane might be world class. All right, so let's just say Kane and Bellingham. Let's say Kane and Bellingham. I don't think anyone else on that England team is world class. Trent, when he plays right back, is an exceptional player. Probably one of the best right backs in the world, underrated. I just don't know if I'd call Trent world class because of his defending. So in that sense, I can't call Trent world class.
Okay, so I don't disagree with the world class versus not world class. Bellingham, Declan Rice, and Kane are world class to me. Stamped, signed, sealed, delivered. Foden, Saka, whatever. They're close.
Saka's
right?
not close.
They're close. Okay? And then you have all these other guys. Ollie Watkins, look what he did this year. He's better than everybody on the Netherlands except Virgil van Dijk. Cole Palmer, same thing. At least if we're talking about form. Kyle Walker, John Stones. John Stones has been real good for a while.
Yeah, he's been good. Look, we can argue about this all day, but I don't know, man. I can't. I don't want to argue about it anymore. It's interesting takes around the chat here, though. Both teams are really good. And England should win. If we're talking about like just player for player, England should win, Steve.
Well, let's look at Spain because they're going to have some surprises in here too that I can't even think of right now. but Yamal's been playing great. Okay, so here's who they got.
Have a great week, Liz.
Carvajal, Nacho, Grimaldo, Laporte, David Raya, Jesus Navas, Cucurella, who's been playing great.
Unai Simon's a better keeper than Jose Raya.
Yeah, I don't know. Sure. Cucurella has been playing great. Fabian Ruiz, Danny Olmo, Rodri, Pedri,
Danny Olmo, and Rodri. Okay.
Nico Williams, Lamine Yamal, Ferran Torres, Ayoze Perez, Alvaro Morata.
Talk about a player who's good on the international level.
Yeah, I mean, they got some players, but it's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
Dude, England's got Joe Gomez rotting on the bench.
Dustin
Jared
says
Bowen
Morata's
rotting
underrated.
on the bench.
Morata is not underrated. Morata has a psychological problem where at the club level, he's not good.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, and Foden has the opposite problem. Club level, he's amazing. On international level, he's not good. Now, again, you got to take into account that you're playing completely different. Plus, Morata, I think, captained Spain, no?
Dude, I have no idea.
That's
That doesn't
kind of
sound
crazy.
right to me.
No, I think he captained Spain, bro.
Wouldn't it be Carvajal?
No, I'm pretty sure I saw him wearing the armband. What are these faces you're making are interesting. Stellar says Depay is washed, and I could not agree more. The man is wearing a headband right now.
Depay is not washed because he never was. He never lived up to what he could be.
No, he could have been so good, bro. So good. Oh, man. Poor guy. I really liked him too. LJ, let's talk. We'll wrap the show up here with this here, Steve. All right. We have many guys frauding. All right. Ooh. So you cannot
I think he means not playing.
No. I think he means like he's just referring to players who aren't living up to their potential. Jota and Trent are the two you have got to take off that list. We can have a conversation about Gravenberch, Ibu, and Gomez, though.
No, I think he means just not playing. That's what I think he means.
What do you mean not playing? Not playing with what?
Not getting minutes in the tournament. Not getting enough minutes.
Interesting.
I think I could be wrong, but I hope that's what you mean.
Well, if you do mean that, then I agree 100% with all of them. But frauding to me, just using context clues, I feel like it might be different. But Stellar says Tony walks into the Dutch side. I think he was referring to Ivan Tony.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy.
He does. They're playing Weghorst. Weghorst is getting legitimate minutes.
Weghorst and Memphis Depay. Okay? They don't that's ass. All right? But Gakpo? Come on now. Gakpo's nasty.
Xavi Simons is good.
Yeah, he's good.
Real good.
He's really good. Where the hell is what the hell is his name? The guy who plays for Barcelona. Why am I forgetting his name? Not Van de Beek, the other one.
De Jong?
De Jong.
I don't know.
What the hell is he doing?
Is he hurt?
Did he play? I can't remember.
I don't think I've heard about him or seen him. He must be injured.
It's crazy. I don't know if I saw him this tournament. I should have been paying more attention. So he's injured. That's what I thought. Okay. Steve, let's wrap things up here. I want to hear from you regarding if August rolls around and we don't make any signings, right? We don't make any defensive signings. Everyone's healthy. Where do you think we finish?
We're capable of winning the league. I don't know. I really don't know. I'll tell you what, if we don't make any signings, I'll be a lot less excited for the start of the season.
Agreed.
I'll walk into that first opening match, watching it, feeling like it's match week 28. You know when you start to get tired from the season, like
Yeah.
25, 28, and you're stressed for the title race and stuff. I'll feel
Yeah.
like that, dude. We need signings. We're
Yeah.
capable of winning it. We'll finish top 3, but we're capable of winning it. We got to improve the squad, though.
Yeah. Okay. I agree with that. I think I'm excited for the season to see what Slot brings, to see how the players respond to his leadership and going from there. And I'm also excited to see preseason, who plays. I'm excited to see Fabio Carvalho get some time. And hell, dude, if Sepp Vandenberg makes that jump, that'll be exciting to see. One thing I did want to bring up before we close the show here, guys, is some things have been changing here in my life. And I know, Steve, I talked to you a little bit about this. And for the foreseeable future, I think for the channel's sake, I think doing the show on Sunday right now, I think will be the most manageable form of content creation going forward. I've thought a lot about this recently, and I think I don't know, just the motivation I've had for making other kinds of content, like just videos during the week, it kind of hasn't been there. And it's not so much that my love for the club is gone, not even close, but making content has kind of been more of a burden and a chore than it has been me enjoying it. Now, going live and talking in this kind of content format, like podcast, long form, I really enjoyed this still. And so it remains to be seen with watch alongs and stuff like that if I'm going to continue to do that. But for just right now, unless something changes, because I've been waiting to kind of make this decision for a month or two now, um, I'm not going to make any videos during the week, and this will kind of be just like a weekend thing for right now. I hope everyone understands where I'm coming from with this, but this is just kind of where I'm at. So those are my closing thoughts. But we'll just push forward, and if anything changes, I'll keep you guys updated. All right, Steve, appreciate you being here, man. And appreciate everyone else, all your continued support. Thanks so much, guys. Until next time, take care.